Welcome to Evolution of a Joke. This is a new series that I'm working on where I will take one stand-up bit that I'm working on or reworking or trying for the first time and then break it down and try to improve it. It's kind of like a behind-the-scenes look at how I take a joke from an open mic to a club weekend and all the non-stop tweaking that goes into it in between. So with that being said, that is the last part of the show that is written by ChatGPT. The first joke in this series that I want to do used to be one of my opening jokes, and it's kind of like an introduction joke as well, and that's something you kind of got to do sometimes at the start of a show. Most people don't know me when I go do shows. I wish I was at the point in my career where like I could just come on stage and everyone knows who I am already. They know my style, but sadly I'm not. I can't afford to do cold opens. I'm so jealous of like Louis C.K. Like I watched his last special, how you can just come out and just launch into his first joke. Anyway, so I found off the top this was like a joke that kind of helped me, because a lot of times I found it helps if I like address my race off the top. It helps set up some of my later jokes, but then also people want to know. They don't trust the color beige. They need some certainty. So I used to have an opening joke that kind of sucked, but it was just that I would just say my dad's from East Africa, from Ethiopia specifically. My mother's white, just from wherever the hell white is from. But I kind of hate that setup, and I think it's kind of played out. But anyway, I would do that just because I would need it for my later jokes, but then I realized this joke kind of replaced that because I actually do. It's a bit of a better take, and anyway, I'll just play the first half of it.
We just found out my grandfather on my pale side. He's possibly a slight racist. We found that out this Christmas. Because he just wouldn't stop saying color people out of nowhere. And after a while, I had to sit him down and explain. I'm like, hey, you can just call us your grandkids. You don't have to. It was so weird. He'd be like, all these color people coming into the neighborhood. You invited us. Eat your pierogies. What are you?
I guess this joke came about because, I just had that kernel where I don't know who exactly inspired it, but it just made me laugh. I think it was also because Tyler was talking about that, and they say that in South Africa, and then some old person was like, I don't even know you're not supposed to say that here. And I just laughed. And then I just applied it to my white grandparents, just being like, you can just call us your grandkids. That was where this started. And then I just said that one time on stage and then developed this show kind of around that. And I also realized it's kind of relatable because a lot of the people in the audience have that, whatever, uncle or grandparent. It's pretty easy to visualize. So I don't know. It's just an easy way to start. And then it's funny. The thing that I was most wanting to add to this joke is I don't know why I wanted to bring up the term pierogies. I thought that was so funny. I don't know why I think that word is so funny, but I wanted to somehow bring that in. So I ended it here. I don't remember how exactly I wrote that in, but anyway, that was something I really wanted to. This wasn't the first time I tried that. Actually, let me show the first time I tried that.
It was so weird. He'd be like, all these color people in the neighborhood. I'm like, you invited us over. You know what I'm saying? What are you? Let's have these pierogies in peace. You know what I'm saying?
So you can see this is my first time trying that. I'm really happy that it worked because it makes me laugh. But then also it didn't flow that well. And then also what I realized is sometimes I feel people are laughing at the wrong reasons for jokes. So I wanted to end it calling my grandfather a I wanted to end it that way. So I had to figure out a way to say both of those things. That's how I started working on the end of this joke. Actually, a lot of times when I go back and listen to my jokes, the tweaks I'm looking at, they're very small. I should actually take this opportunity to say one other thing I want to do in this series is something that was pretty helpful for me in getting better at stand-up is this other comic. His name's Gary Goldman, and he wrote these tips or advice on doing stand-up a couple years back. And every day for a year, he tweeted one piece of advice. I actually tried to do each of the ones he did every day. So I'm going to try to tie some of them back. So one of the ones, the tips he gave, it's his fifth tip. And it's a quote from Mark Twain where he says, the difference between the right word and the almost right word is the difference between lightning and a lightning bug. So go through all your jokes and look at adding basically one word to change your joke. So that's what I was looking at to end this joke, to end this part of the joke. He's I had the first part, but I also I'll segue to the next part of it later. But I also was looking at what's exactly certain words and pierogies I wanted to have in there. And then also I wanted to call my grandfather but I wanted to use adjective too. or a qualifier, not just some type of so that's something I was spending a lot of time thinking about and trying different variations. So what I came up with is, it's actually funny watching these back because you can see me trying it, and then in the moment I'm all right, this is This is the one.
Oh, it'd be so weird. He'd be like, all these colored people coming into the neighborhood. I was like, you invited us over. You know what I'm saying? Just eat your pierogies, you albino. What are you doing? What are you?
You can tell when I'm thinking about something not the show, and then I start looking up like an idiot. So that was that's the first half of the joke. Like I said, this kind of fell out of my rotation as like a opening joke. Like I was talking earlier, how like sometimes I need to have these jokes earlier in the set to kind of set up, to kind of give context to my later ones. I just got a lot better at not needing context for any of my jokes. One thing I noticed is if you start needing like earlier jokes or chains of jokes for it to make sense, it almost is a weakness, because yeah, it can help in the sense of like sometimes you get like a callback or something like that, or like people laugh at this joke because they heard the earlier one. But also I think they should each on their own like standalone be funny. So I intentionally stopped doing this joke to start, and then I want to see if all my other ones would stand up on their own. Sometimes I will bring it back in this next set. It was not at the start of the set, it was just like halfway through, and something happened in the moment based on the audience that I'm like, yeah, you know what, I should do this joke because it fits well with what's going on. I hadn't done it in a while. Oh, and there was one element in the joke that I wanted to add. So just halfway through the set, like I'm like 15-20 minutes into a set just doing nothing related to this, but then something, I forget what it was, I wish I remembered, but something based on the audience sparked this, and you can actually kind of see like there was something I wanted to try based on that too.
We recently found out in my family that my grandfather on my pale side is like a slight racist. Like, just, I know it's Alberta, I should have known, but like it came out of nowhere. He's like a Russian sleeper agent, I swear. Like after
that's what I wanted to try. So I watched some show and it had a Russian sleeper agent in it, and I'm like, I wanted to apply that concept because that made me laugh, where like someone who's never been a racist and then out of nowhere, like 30 years later, you know, something happens and it triggers them. That was just like a perfect concept to apply. And then
out of nowhere, this Thanksgiving, he just started saying colored people.
Oh yeah, they reacted. Someone at the front, I forget what they said. They said something super funny though. I wanted to show me saying the albino because that's how I end it now. That makes me happier in some crowds because they laugh for the wrong reasons, but then I like that.
No, it'd be so weird. He'd be like, all these colored people coming into the neighborhood. And I was like, you invited us over. You know what I'm saying? Just eat your pierogies, you albino. Like, what are you?
Let's move on to the second half of the joke.
He also coincidentally got diagnosed with Alzheimer's this year, which was sad, but it's hilarious now because now I can kind of like gauge what decade he thinks he's in by like how racist he's being that day. You know what I'm saying? Like the last time he saw me, he freaked out. He's like, that's some mulatto kid who's been robbing me. My grandma, she was like, I'm so sorry. Like, he's just having a bad day. And I was like, no, I have been robbing the out of him. Actually, I did not know he was going to remember. This is
So yeah, this second half, I already had the first half of the joke and then something happened. So this is a lot of times how I'll write jokes. Like one small thing will happen and then my main struggle in stand-up is like, I think so much stuff is funny and then I gotta like translate it. Like it's the translation part that goes like, how do I translate this concept that I'm immediately laughing at, but then I gotta explain why it's so funny. So like, it's someone who, this is based off a real thing that happened. So someone, not my grandfather, but someone else who had dementia. And then I was laughing because I'm like, oh, they really like me with dementia. I think they like me even more than they used to. Maybe they forgot they were racist. And so I was laughing so hard at that. Not everyone was laughing because it's a sad thing. But I'm immediately laughing. And they're like, he's not racist. I'm like, yeah, but it's funny. So I started like thinking of that idea. How do I flip that idea bring that into my own grandfather being racist towards me and then him getting dementia. At first, like just the idea to me of someone who's losing track of like what decade it is. A, forgetting you're racist, but then B, also like not knowing what the current times is. Like what's politically correct now? What's considered racist now? Or like even better, like forgetting how to be racist in 2025 is so fun. Like they still want to be, but they just don't know how. They don't know how to accurately be racist. Like they're going too light or too hard. So I was thinking about this. I was like coming up with like words like that change with the times to try to like signify what decade they might think they're in. Like I was trying to come up with like timestamp slurs, you know, like Drake timestamp records, but like 1967 in Louisiana. Like what would they be saying? Like words that take you back to a different era. So that's how I kind of started going about this. Matter of fact, I still should. The issue is I started doing it with like real examples. Like I was doing like a joke about how like my litmus test to see like what decade, if he's before or after 1994, is I ask what they think about O.J. Simpson. You can tell immediately off that question because beforehand they're like, oh yeah, he's one of the good ones. And then after they're like, he duped us. If they still think he's one of the good ones, you gotta show them a documentary. Oh, the issue with that is a lot of people, especially younger people, don't really know the story O.J. Simpson. Maybe I should bring it back. Maybe I just didn't explain it well. So yeah, that's kind of where my mind was going with this, and I still might, but like I like the idea of differences in decades. The issue is like, for me, is like picking the right words, or then also like painting the right picture. I also had a joke about my own parents, so like they're interracial, obviously, and I had this joke about how basically I don't respect new interracial relationships. Like I only respect ones from back in the day, because like they had real stakes. Like nowadays, like they were actually risking something. Like it was dangerous back then. It better be to die for, because you could. And nowadays is like people are just like, oh, I want my baby to have green eyes but also make the high school basketball team. I'm like, it's not the same struggle. But that was too compact, especially because I said I was starting with this joke, so I really just wanted to kind of move on, set the stage. But looking back, I actually there's a lot more meat on the bone for this joke. I should probably rewrite it. And another funny part is that idea of like saying the wrong word. Like I said mulatto in this, because that's one where like I don't actually know. I also don't keep track that well of like what's offensive. Like people have to tell me. Like J. Cole used to rap about that. I thought that was okay to say, and then someone told me, oh, that's offensive, and I'm like, oh, like they were like, oh, you're supposed to be offended by that, and I didn't even know. I wasn't. And but this also partly because like my dad is like a fob. I mean, he's not a fob, but he is in a lot of ways where like he does the same thing, where he uses words that I'm like he calls every kid a monkey, and like it's funny to me because I'm like, other people are like, oh, you can't say that, but I'm like, yes you can. Like he's like he sounds like every Italian soccer fan talking to kids. Let me come back to the joke.
My grandma, she was like, I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, this I noticed too is like dementia is like very, like it's obviously very sad if you've ever seen someone go through it. Like I could feel that a little bit in the air. So I added this element to kind of like humanize, to show like this is like, I'm not just laughing at people with dementia. Well, I am, but the point is like I added this to show, yeah, my grandma being like, he's having a bad day today, which is like, it's understandable.
Like he's just having a bad day. And I was like, no, I haven't rubbing the
But this is where you gotta double down and be like, yeah, that's fine. You can be having a bad day, but like that's why you gotta. I used to say that I won't get an inheritance, so I have to take reparations. But that tag wasn't really getting the. I don't know. I guess people don't like it's elder abuse. People don't like the idea of.
Not know he was gonna remember this is.
And I also used to say, yeah, he thinks he's Joe Biden half the time. I thought that was so funny. Like to think of my grandfather watching TV and having dementia so bad that he thinks he's on TV. I thought that was hilarious. People didn't think it was that. Like they would laugh, but I thought that was so funny. Maybe I didn't explain it properly again. So anyway, to kind of summarize this joke, it's really just an icebreaker. Yeah, it's setting me up so people know, all right, they can understand a little bit of my family dynamics. They can also get a bit of my sense of humor where this is a good setup for my later jokes. I got sick of like the whole joke setup where it's like for mixed people where it's like, yeah, my black side is this, my white side is this. I don't think it's that funny, and I admit I used to do that a little bit, but like I would do it simply for the fact that I felt I needed to like set these things up, because once I do my next joke, you can't understand it. A friend of mine was like, I think that's hacky, and I'm like, I agree. And so if I do think that, then why would I do that? I'm not one of the biracials with like a identity crisis. I like my father. I like my mother too. It's funny, someone actually was telling me recently, like, oh, someone took your joke, and I'm like, if someone can write the same joke or like have a similar joke to me, and I hate to like sound condescending, but I'm like, that just means it wasn't a good enough joke. Like I'm like, if you can think of that, then it's not unique, it's not creative, and like I'm kind of embarrassed to have the same joke as you. To be honest, people send me jokes all the time on Instagram. A lot of times they'll send me one like that, and like I sound like such a hater, but like I hate those jokes. Like, yeah, like, oh, that's from your white side, that's from your black side. It's like Richard Pryor did that in the 70s. Pretty much exhausted that whole topic. So like, if you don't have, like, I guess, yeah, we're just the children of people from the 70s, but like, you can do better. That's my opinion, and I can do better. I think I can do better. I'm just like, anyway, this joke is not, I'm not saying this is like the holy grail, but it's not as boring as that shit. Some other comments I wanted to make about this series is, I wanted to talk a bit about why I wanted to do it. Is my main thing in doing stand-up is like, I want to get funny first. And when I say get funny, like your first few years of stand-up, you're just like finding how to make jokes at work. Like you're finding how to get laughs and then turning that into time and turning that into a set. That's what I wanted to focus on. Like I didn't want to be, I still don't want to be on social media, but I also recognize like it's completely stupid to not be on social media in 2025. So this is like a way for me to do that. Is like this series is something I do already in my pursuit of doing stand-up. Is I do this anyway. I record myself, I watch my tapes. It sucks. It's like one of the hardest things to do, and it's painful, but it makes you better. So I'm like, why not, if I'm already doing this, why not just have that be the thing that I show on social media? A lot of people are worried about like burning material. I kind of used to be too. But then I realized a couple things. Like number one, most people who come to your shows don't know you. They haven't seen you online. And even if they have, like, you're going to get like 1 in every 100 people be like, oh, I saw that joke, so I'm disappointed. But for the most part, a lot of people ask. They'll be like, I want to see that joke that I've already seen. I like that joke, which to me blew my mind. Also, like, I think I'm always getting better. So like all these jokes, as soon as, like, I'm getting better still, like every week, every day. So when I look back, I'm like, I'm going to be better than this anyways. Like I'm writing better jokes today than I was yesterday. So like all these jokes are going to be, I don't really care if they get burned. And that, I feel like that almost forces you to be more creative. And that's coming back to the quote that Gary Goldman quote. This is what the quote is. It's number 45. It's, don't worry about burning material on a special or album. Hoarding jokes may signal that your brain is running out of ideas. You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. Maya Angelou. So that honestly, well, now it sounds like I'm copying that, but that's exactly how I feel, where I'm like, I heard that Louis used to take his closing joke, which is like traditionally supposed to be your best one, and intentionally like take his closing joke, put it at the start of his set to force himself to be like, well, I have to write a better closing joke now than that. And it kind of reminds me of like something I heard about how Drake does his like melodies and stuff too, where he'd take like the hook, whatever the melody that he wrote that was the hook, and then move it into the verse and then write a new. So essentially it's like you're building hooks on hooks, or like basically it's compounding. And that's how I feel too, where I'm like, I do that too, where like I said, this was my opening joke. Now it's just a joke. Like I don't even need to do it in a set. If I do it, great. If I don't, who cares? And that's how I feel too, where I'm like, if I should be better than this. I am better than this. Like I watch this joke. It's not that special. It's just, it does what it's supposed to. It does kind of give you a glimpse of how I think though, to be honest, where like my reaction is to laugh at things. I should mention, like my grandfather's dead. Like none of this happened. I feel so bad I'm slandering him, but he's rest in peace. But he never said any of this. But like that would be how I would react if he did. Is like it's fine. It's not fine, but it's funny. It's just like it makes me laugh first before I struggle to be sensitive. Like I should be more sensitive. Or like, yeah, someone with dementia is being nice to me and I'm laughing. I'm like, wow, you forgot you're a racist. That's how my mind works. And that's kind of what this joke gets across, I guess. Simple as that. I don't know if I talked about the word albino, but I think that's just a funny word in general. I don't fully understand what it means. I don't get how all white people aren't albino. I don't know what pigment they have that other ones don't. I don't know. Maybe it's eyebrows. But I really don't. I think the word is funny. I think it's funny to call, especially old people, because once their eyebrows turn white, they basically are albino. I should Google what that means. Hold on. What is albino? Albino is a rare inherited genetic condition where the body produces little or no melanin, the pigment that determines skin, hair, and eye color. I don't know. To me, sounds like the mountains of Caucasus to me. They have light hair, skin, and eyes. And they also experience vision problems because melanin is essential for normal eye development. Let me take these off. My eyes are good. I only wear those to look smart anyway. That is hilarious. More susceptible to sunburn and skin cancer. They're just describing white people. There's no cure. That's hilarious. No cure for albinoism, but the symptoms can be managed. Well, I should add this into my joke. Albinism does not typically affect intellectual ability, but they may face social challenges due to their appearance. It results in white hair. Okay, so it makes sense to call an old person albino. Yeah, they have white hair. Is there black albino people? It affects all races. All right, thank you. That is episode 1 of my new series called Evolution of a Joke. Thank you for tuning in. If you stayed this long, I was told to tell you you can email me. Yeah, if you have any questions, comments, if you don't know if you're albino, if you don't know if your grandfather's a racist, I got all the answers. Watch my joke. Watch out for the next episode too. It's going to be funny enough. I think the next episode is going to be about blind people. So maybe I'll tie in a segue with albinos.